Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 2023 Geographic-Based Outreach RFP information session. My name is Shawnee Jones, and I serve as the procurement coordinator for KCRHA. And I do have a couple of my colleagues on the line. If you guys wouldn't mind just unmuting real quick and just introducing yourself and also your role so folks know who they are on the call with today. Just real quick, if you don't mind. We can popcorn it.
Sorry, Shawnee. Thank you. I'll jump in. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see such great turnout. Looking forward to going over this opportunity with everybody. My name is Jen Ozawa. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve in the role of Procurement and Policy Manager at KCRHA. So anytime anyone is applying for funds through KCRHA, you will be working closely with Shawnee and myself. So again, thank you and great to meet you. Turn it over to Erin for introduction.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Erin Bryant Thomas. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve as the Director of Equity and Justice at KCRHA. Pleasure to be here. Marta?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marta Asfal. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a program specialist on the emergency services side, so supporting shelter, outreach, and day centers. And I will pass it over to Miriam.
Thank you, Marta. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm Miriam Kasaika. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the pleasure of serving our community as a program specialist here at KCRHA with our capacity unit, providing technical assistance, capacity building, trainings, that type of thing. Again, thankful to be here. Thank you all, seeing new faces and familiar faces as well. And I think, is that all for our KCRHA friends?
I see M's on the call as well.
All right, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you all. Hi, my name is Em. I use she, her pronoun. I'm with the program team supporting portfolios of shelters, outreach, residency, and day centers, and happy to be here.
Okay, I think that's it. If I miss anybody, speak up now or we'll move on.
Shawnee, looks like our colleague Jeff has just joined us. Hey, Jeff. KCRHA staff is just introducing themselves. Good to see you.
You too. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Sims. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the Senior Director for Policy at KCRHA. Nice to be with you this morning.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. And if that is everybody, we can move on.
I have my hand raised. We have a new team member, Lynette Jordan, who's on the call, so I just want to give time for her to introduce herself as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Marta. My name is Lynette Jordan, and I am a brand new program specialist on the program team, colleague of Marta and M on the line. And today is my 4th day, so I'm very excited to, this is my first official virtual meeting, so I'm very excited and honored to be on board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a little bit of an agenda today. So our time today will be spent reviewing the timeline. We'll go over the fund sources for this funding opportunity. We'll discuss briefly the agency eligibility requirements or qualifications. We'll also touch on our grants management system, Flux, which all applications are input into that system and reviewed into Flux. And we'll also briefly go over the rating and scoring of the applications that are submitted for this RFP. Next slide, please. So as far as the timeline, we released a draft application on Friday, February 10th, and we opened the draft application for public comment February 13th through February 17th. And then we posted a final draft on Tuesday, February 21st. I do want to note that we do intend to revise the current RFP application that is on our website. I want to just acknowledge and thank those that first acknowledge that I realize we have a very tight timeline, right? And I want to thank those that contributed to the public comments. And we are working hard internally to get additional comments and feedback incorporated into a final draft. Ideally, we would have liked to have it posted before this information session, but we want to just be real intentional about ensuring that all feedback that could be incorporated is included in the final version. So just look for the final version that incorporates public comments later today. We plan to have it posted by end of business today, Monday at the latest, but we're really pushing to have it posted today. And just for a little more context around public comments, the comments are that we're incorporating are to help provide additional clarity on things folks ask for clarification on. So just to help the application and guidelines just be as robust and inclusive as possible. So that final draft. So this is the only information session. And like Jen mentioned, it will be recorded and posted to our website to review later or for folks that could not attend today's session. And we also have a question and answer period, which ends on Friday, March 3rd at 11:59 p.m. I'll need to update this as well. Originally, I just want to note that the last day to submit questions was on February 22nd, but since we had to amend the application, we are extending the question and answers period. Those question and answers will also be posted on our website as they come in. So the document will be revised as additional questions come in to at kcrha.org. So any questions that you have regarding the final application need to be submitted to rfp@kcrha.org by Friday, March 3rd at 11:59 p.m. I'm hearing a little feedback. Can you please put yourself on mute if you're not speaking? And also, if you're having trouble hearing me, just raise your hand or just shout like, Shawnee, we can't hear you or we can't really understand what you're saying. The application deadline for this funding opportunity is Tuesday, March 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We anticipate denial notifications going out to applicants on Friday, March 31st. And then appeals will be due by Friday, April 7th. And then we, after appeals, we anticipate final award notifications to go out on Wednesday, April 12th. And then contract development will begin on Wednesday, May 1st. Next slide, please. So KCRHA uses a range of funding sources to support projects awarded through its RFP processes. And the fund sources included for this funding opportunity are from the city of Seattle. And so this is a breakdown of what will be, thank you, Jen. This is a breakdown of what will be available for this funding opportunity in 2023 and also 2024. The first fund source were in 2023 for $811,976, excuse me, reflects the maximum amount of funds available. And I think we should also note that the final amount of expanded funding may change at the time of awards, but as of today, this is the amount available. So when you create your budget, base it on this dollar amount. And I just want to highlight again that awards may be reduced if the fund source changes. The second fund source is also City of Seattle for $220,000. The third fund source is a one-time funding from the City of Seattle for $62,776. And then for 2023, it also includes existing funding for homelessness outreach and vehicle residency outreach. And that's $1,852,992. This reflects, I'm sorry, Jen, I've lost my train of thought here. Can you jump in on the 1.8 million?
Yeah, of course. So that is, like Johnny mentioned, existing funding, which is currently contracted through the end of April for new contracts to begin May 1st. So that reflects a prorated amount for 2023. If you look in the 2024 column, that is the whole dollar amount for a 12-year span or 12-month span. And we are asking that you create your budgets based off of the 2023 amounts reflected here. But we just wanted to also show sort of what ongoing funding may look like as well, given the prorated caveat would look different in 2024.
Thank you for that. And I just want to call on any of my colleagues. Jeff, did you have anything you wanted to add around the funding, or you think we're good to move to the next slide?
I was just double checking one of the numbers. I can't, so Jen, I'll just defer to you on what was the amounts that are available in the first year. I mean, and then what we're actually asking people to write to, I think, is the annual amount. Is that what you, could you say that? Could you say it again? I didn't totally follow what you had stated there.
So yeah, we ask that you write to the 2023 amount. Actually, we've kind of changed that. We're going to adjust that in the revised version of the RFP. And then we will, in the contract negotiation period moving forward beyond 2023, be able to add the additional to contracts at that point.
Thanks for that. The only other thing for that first line, the 811,976, those funds are provided to KCRHA subject to HSD accepting an agreement that is still under development between RHA and the City of Seattle. So that's why we listed the maximum amount that's available there. And because we don't have final determination what amount it will be, but we're seeking to obviously make the maximum amount of available funds, maximum amount of funds available.
Right, correct. Thanks, Jeff. And we did highlight that, saying that the funding amount may change once by the time a contract is awarded. So we did want to note that. Thank you both. Next slide, please.
Before you guys move on, Kathy Brooks had a really good question in the chat. Would you mind answering that? Because I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, I was on the, thank you, Darlene, and thank you, Kathy, was in the process of responding. We have not been explicit about a ceiling or a floor for these funds. So let us think on this some more and get back to you all. We will give direct updates to folks who have joined the call today, as well as post on our website. Shawn, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, okay. So we do ask that you visit our website at kcrha.org to review the eligibility requirements to do business with KCRHA. But this is just a quick snapshot to be eligible for our funding. For a funding process, applicants must be either incorporated as a private nonprofit corporation in the state of Washington, have 501c status or tax exempt status by the IRS, and be in good standing for at least 1 year prior to and at the time of the application of funding, or be a federally recognized or Washington state recognized Indian tribe, or be a public corporation or other legal entity established under this Washington state code, and be in good standing at least 1 year prior to and at the time of the application for funding. Applicants must have a federal ID or EIN number, employee identification number, to facilitate receipt of payments from KCRHA. And applicants must meet all applicable licensing requirements and report to and pay revenue taxes to Washington State and the City of Seattle. Applicants must not be presently debarred, suspended, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, or voluntarily excluded from competing for funding opportunities by any federal, state, or local department or agency. If the applicant is using a fiscal sponsor, the fiscal sponsor must meet the minimum eligibility requirements above and other program-specific criteria that is that will be outlined in the applicable program guidelines. And for applicants with fiscal sponsors, program-specific requirements may be met by either the applicant or by the fiscal sponsor, or a combination of both. Next slide, please. And so, like I said, all applications go through our grants management system, Flux. So applicants will utilize Flux to fill out the RFP application and to submit all required documents. We encourage applicants to start writing now and save in a separate file. You can always upload, copy, and paste into Flux later. If you are a new provider and you anticipate applying for this project, we strongly encourage you to set up your Flux account now. So once you go to the grants management system, to this link, KCRHA grants to the Flux grants management system, you will register for an account and KCRHA will respond to you within 48 hours. If you have any issues or concerns with setting up your account, please contact contracts. And can someone please drop this in the chat? Contracts@kcrha.org for any questions or assistance with your Flux account. We can go to the next slide. Rating and scoring. So for this application and all of our funding processes, all applications are reviewed by our rating team, which is composed of people with lived experience, other community members, and subject matter experts. The rating team recommends applications to be funded and implemented. KCRHA uses an established rating system, and each application will be rated based on the questions in the application. Each section will have points assigned. So for this funding process, your history or tell us who you are, right, is worth 15 points. Your agency proposal is worth 25 points. The racial equity questions are worth 20 points. Partnerships are 15 points. The data and fiscal management portion is worth 20 points. And then the funding or budget is worth 5 points. So that concludes the info session. If you have any questions regarding this funding opportunity, we ask that you submit them to rfp@kcrha.org. And if folks have questions, we do have time for a few questions, a little question and answer session. Or if we need to go back and clarify anything, please feel free to come off mute or drop your question in chat.
Kathy.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for this info session and for putting out the RFP and providing the opportunity to comment on it too. I think this has been a really great and interesting process. We had a question just about the start date of these contracts and a little bit of confusion on our side on whether this is the time to apply or if there's going to be a later process. So I know the start date for these contracts is June 30th. We received our award letter for our current outreach work is for the full calendar year of 2023. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how that will play out if should be applying now for another award starting in June and how that meshes with our current contract, or if there is a potentially another funding opportunity coming later in the year for currently contracted providers.
Shawnee, you want to take that or do you want me to?
Yeah, can you take that one, please?
Yeah, so thank you for raising that. It's a great question. There are folks or organizations whose existing funding is included in this RFP should have been notified and their contract should have been prorated. There are 2 agencies that applies to currently. There's a greater portfolio of outreach services, as you all know, that RHA holds, and we will be reprocuring those later this year with our overall system reprocurement process. Those specific outreach contracts were set aside because they are culturally specific. So we wanted to ensure that there was that those were retained for right now. And those contracts will go into effect after our reprocurement process, which will be this year in preparation for new contracts in 2024. Feel free to ping us, Kathy, if you have offline, if you have any specific contract related questions, and we can follow up.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think I'm just confused about whether this is like a rebid of our current contract or if that will be a separate process, but I can follow up directly.
Okay.
Kathy, you're at Mary's place, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe the funds are incorporated here. I noted, I was looking at some of the comments received. I know that you submitted a question about that earlier. Some of the revisions that Shawnee mentioned to the RFP include adding a statement at the beginning, noting that delineation. It's understandable that it would be confusing. So anybody that's a population specific provider, sometimes that's a culturally specific provider. Sometimes it's, like youth and young adults. I don't know if you call that cultural as much as a population, and then families too. So that's all part grouped into a later competition later this year, which is why your award letter and the notification you got, I think it was late December, I can't remember exactly when, should have indicated that for you. But you noting that in comments earlier was actually very helpful. So we're making that more explicit in the revision, like, no, this is like certain groups and not population specific groups.
Great, thanks so much. That's really helpful.
Any other questions?
This is Darlene. So just to make sure I understand correctly, so I work with young adults, 18 up to 25. So the outreach contract I would be wanting to, or the RFP for me would be later this year. Is that what he just said?
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
For contracts in 2024. So as far as fund development planning purposes, just keep that in mind, and more information will become available as we continue to kind of flesh out that rebid process. We're in the midst of planning right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any others? And no pressure. We will, again, we did extend the Q&A period like Shawnee mentioned. So if things come to mind after the fact, feel free to email us and we'll be sure to get back to you, as well as post it publicly for everyone else's awareness.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Darlene. Are there other questions?
If not, I do want to give a plug to our amazing colleagues on the capacity building team. Miriam is here as one of the colleagues on that team, just to let folks know that services are available if you're new to contracting with RHA and have any questions or capacity related technical assistance. Miriam, I don't want to speak for you, but definitely want to plug the amazing work that you all do, because it is connected to supports that can be offered with procurement in relation to community too.
Thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information on the chat. If anybody wants to connect, our team is ready, excited, and willing to partner with you all on any capacity needs that that your organization might have.
Thank you, Miriam.
We definitely don't want to put people on the spot. And I'm always a proponent of the gift of time, but I'm also comfortable in the quiet. So we can, yeah, we can definitely have the gift of time. Happy Friday, everyone. And if you have questions or need to follow up or clarification on anything, again, please reach out to us at rfp@kcrha.org, and we'll drop that in the chat again. You can also visit our website at kcrha.org to learn more or to see what funding opportunities are available. Again, I think Jen had mentioned this recording will be posted later today along with the revised outreach RFP. So please follow our website for updated information later today or by Monday morning at the latest.
Thank you, everybody. Look forward to receiving your applications soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.